Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiemon, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 155. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? In all honesty, I thought this week's chapter was fantastic, and one of the main reasons for it was because in this week's chapter we emphasize a lot in Nayuta and her character as a whole, as well as we get to see a lot of confirmations of theories that we had, us as the fans have had since the end of part 1, when she got introduced. And pretty much all these questions were lingering until now, and it was great to see a lot of confirmation regarding her character as well as her inner psyche in this week's chapter, and we get to see a lot of growth as a character. So I thought that was fantastic. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Chainsaw Man as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So this week's chapter starts off where we left off last time, which is pretty much the confrontation between Barim and Nayuta. And we see pretty much that what's happening is, in the last chapter, we saw that people are trying to, attack her. Now, at the beginning of this chapter, we see that the people are kind of, second-guessing themselves, hey, listen, she's a kid, bro, and then, some people are like, no, we gotta kill her because she already got someone killed. I know she controlled that person, so this girl has to die. And pretty much you see the other half of the crowd, they're like, no, man, she's a kid, we can't, it's only been one day and everything's gone to to ruckus, everything's just being destroyed, and we got mad. Everybody has gone crazy and mad. And pretty much throughout it all, then we see that Barim, out of nowhere, he pulls out a gun. I believe it's the gun that Fumiko dropped, or it might be someone else's gun, who knows. But the point is, he grabs it and then he puts him in his head, and he's he tries to shoot himself, I guess he ran out of bullets. And people are like, what? And Nayuta herself is kind of confused, what's going on? And then we see Barim, the slimy weasel that he is, he starts saying guys, you gotta kill her, she's controlling me, oh my god. Pretty much he leads on the crowd to then all of them turn on Nayuta. And pretty much you see throughout it all, you see the entire crowd, it's starts looking at Nayuta funny now. And Nayuta's like, dude, it's not me, don't believe him. And while she's trying to convince them that it's not her, then you see all the entire crowd just charge at her. And then you see Nayuta all shocked, oh no. And then we cut to pretty much their apartment just being burned to a crisp, as well as we get to see a flashback where we see the apartment perfectly fine. And then we get to see the flashback of where pretty much Nayuta and Denji, when they first went to that apartment, when Denji first brought her in after part 1. It was good. It was fun to see little Nayuta. It was adorable. But we see pretty much Denji's hey, going forward, this is your home now. And she's like, why do I pity this human? Huh? Something's off. And she keeps questioning all these things, and Denji's yeah, you're gonna live here for now, and we're pretty much we'll be brother and sister kind of thing. I'll take care of you. And throughout it all, you see pretty much what Nayuta was thinking at that point in time, when she's who am I? What is this? Why do I pity this human? And then she, I guess throughout the night, sometime, she was able to put her chains at Denji and get his knowledge. So it is confirmed that she's able to at least control Denji to a sense, I guess. Or something along those lines, because we see that she was able to get into Denji's memories, and I don't know if she might be able to corrupt them. I think she might just be able to see them, and that's it. But she still saw them. And then she realized oh, so the old me was called Makima. And you're whoa, that's insane. She remembers, she remember everything from her previous life, and it's confirmed. And that's the theory that we all had, oh, does she remember when she died? And for the most part, we got it right that she does remember, but not for the circumstances that I thought so. Because some people I saw online were saying that she might just remember everything, but I was no, that doesn't make sense, because when they get reincarnated, they don't have their previous memories. That has been established. However, she does get her previous memories as being Makima, because through a lens, she was looking through it from Denji's point of view, so she remembers everything. And she's okay, so pretty much she has the idea, okay, my old self wanted to take care of, control his heart, and so I'm gonna make him fall in love with me, and then I'll take everything away from him. And then she's maybe after that I'll realize, and I might find out who the true me is, who really I am. Because that's the one thing that I think this part 2 has done beautifully, which has been the whole concept and theme of nurture versus nature. And this chapter really emphasized that, and one of those themes that I have been saying for a while, which is that. And I thought that it was really good to see finally, for once, Nayuta's POV, like, her in her monologue, in her thoughts. Because if I remember correctly, this might be one of the few times ever that we get to see, to this extent, Nayuta's like, feelings or anything regarding herself. So I thought that was really good, like writing for Fujimoto. And as the story goes on, as we see that flashback, we see that after she says like, I'll take care of him and lead him on and take his heart away, just like my old self. You see, as they spend more and more time together, you see Nayuta start smiling and having fun, and you see them like with the dogs. And as time progresses, you see that she starts, pivoting her point, like, what she was trying to do. And eventually one day, like, you see them at night, they're laying next to each other, and we see that Nayuta's just like, Denji, you're an idiot. Like, just playful banner. And Denji's like, why are you being so mean? Like, it's the end of the night, jerk. Like, go to sleep. And, Nayuta just keeps questioning herself, like, what am I? And then she looks at Denji like, hey, so you're Chainsaw Man and a high school teenager, and like, that's cool and all, but like, who am I? Like, she's asking that to Denji, like, personally. She's like, who am I though? Like, I know who you are, but what or who am I? And Denji's like, don't be silly, dude. Like, you're my family. And that was a very beautiful scene. I thought that was very well handled. And you see Nayuta just be, smart-witted as usual. And she's just like, that is the corniest thing ever. So I thought that was funny. I think that was Fujimoto looking at us through through the glass lens and just being like, listen, it's kind of cheesy, but go with it. Because it is cheesy, but I think it's beautiful. I think it's a cute, like, bonding moment between these two. And we know that Nayuta really cares about Denji. And you pretty much get to see how that relationship was built upon in this chapter. So I thought that was great. And after that, we pretty much cut to a, like, dreamscape of Denji and just thinking to himself, like, oh, do I even deserve to have a good, like, a family? And he's just like, you see, like, it's just darkness and a younger Denji. And it's similar to, like, when Pochita in that hallway, where Denji would look at that door and just keep constantly looking at it, and, like, Denji's inner psyche kind of thing. And we see pretty much Denji, like, in this dreamscape, and eventually we see that he's just like, hey, like, do you really think someone that killed their father, like, would ever have a family? And then you see Denji wake up and, like, the cold sweats. He's like, whoa, what? And he seems to be in a hospital room. And that's how pretty much the chapter ends. So there's a lot of questions going forward. For one, what is Nayuta's fate? Because it's kind of ambiguous. Like, we do know that she was pretty much attacked by the crowd. Now, whether somebody came in and saved her, that's a question for another day. We also got to think about, like, who rescued Denji? Or how did Denji get to that hospital? I mean, we do know that Denji was, like, that Nayuta was controlling, was taking Denji somewhere. However, did that guy get disposed of and then someone took Denji to the hospital, or did that guy make it all the way to the hospital? Because there's a lot of questions that we as the audience, we don't know. And I think that's purposely in Fujimoto's part to then surprise us in the future. Now, if I had to theorize, I don't believe Nayuta's going to die just yet, because I do believe that it's in Fami and Yoru's best favor for her not to die, because they all want to, like, contribute together. They're also siblings, so I don't know if they will let their siblings die technically. But at the same time, Fami did let, like, Nayuta, Makima die in part 1, so who am I to judge? I don't know how their relationship is, but I do believe that they all are going to play a part in this whole debacle of the Nostradamus prophecy. And I think that Nayuta is going to, be one of those big players. Now, as we all know, Fujimoto is notorious for killing his characters, like, in surprising ways, so I would not be too shocked. It's a toss-up. It's honestly a 50-50 whether he will kill Nayuta or not, at least at this point in the story. At the end, maybe at the end of the story, she will die. I hope not, but I mean, it's Fujimoto, man. Like, you can't really tell my man what to do and what not to do. He'll do whatever he wants. So that's what I love about the story too. But overall, I thought this week's chapter was phenomenal. I think it did wonders for Nayuta's character, and I think it really helps to set up more tragedies to come in the future. So if you're one of those people that don't want to see a lot of sad stuff going forward, I'm sorry, man. It seems like Fujimoto's gonna get us in the feels and rip our heart out, and just break it apart. But, it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a great journey, and it seems like we're really setting up to the end goal, which I'm very excited for. Now, with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.